Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Alicia, and today I'm talking about intentional cleaning as a ritual. So in my grad school program, we talk about ritual theory and actually have an entire class on ritual design. The things that make a ritual are essentially that you're connecting to or appealing to some sort of higher power, which can include your higher self or your unconscious, that it is sacred rather than profane. And profane is basically defined to be anything that is everyday, kind of like normal daily stuff, where sacred is then set aside and special. It doesn't have to be like tied to a specific God or religion in any way, although often it is. But the sacred should have an element of specialness, I guess is the best way to put it. Holiness is another word for it, but the set apart from day to day kind of work, which makes talking about a ritual that is house cleaning a little bit weird, because house cleaning is the definition of day to day. However, I'm very much of the opinion that anything you do, if it is done with will and intention and setting the scene that says this is a ritual, I'm doing a ritual and I'm going to do this ritual, it can count. And it can count in a really important way. So the most important thing to know about rituals is that your unconscious mind does not know the difference between something performed in a ritual space versus something performed in real life. So you can do something symbolically in a way that speaks directly to your unconscious and then kind of gets the ball moving, gets things rolling. And that can have an energetic ripple effect both in your psyche as well as in your experience of the world. And I find that doing ritual kinds of house cleaning to be incredibly powerful in this regard, because at the end you can see the result of what you did. You have a very clear visual and even maybe olfactory way of telling, okay, I changed this up. I did this thing. And like intuitively, this isn't weird for people. If I say like, you can create new energy or change the energy in your house if you move your furniture around. Like if I tell you that, you're going to be like, yeah, of course, that makes total sense, because you're going to walk in a different pattern. You're going to be looking at the TV from a different angle. Like, all of that just makes intuitive sense to most people. The other thing that I will say is that a lot of traditions have things around, like sweeping floors on New Year's Eve and sweeping out all the bad luck out the door, or on the first of the month, sweeping all the bad luck out the door, or mopping the floors if you want to, get rid of some bad juju in your house and stuff like that. Cleansing as a ritual act is absolutely something that's been embedded in human like ways of working with the world for a really long time. Even the Temple of Asclepius in healing in ancient Greeks had like a cleansing aspect where you had to go through the baths and get cleansed, which in a healing modality makes perfect sense. Hygiene makes a lot of sense when we're talking about hospitals, right? However, I think a lot of people miss the fact that you can do this with literally any house cleaning. What it takes is intention and thought, and then kind of mindfulness and presence of mind as you do it. So, I personally use the Feng Shui Bagua map. I'm probably saying that badly. But that's what I use for the quadrants of my house, to break it up into the 9 zones. The reason I like that system is twofold. One is because it does cover the entire house. It's really important if you're like assigning meanings or significance to a specific room of the house, that you don't leave any of the other rooms unassigned. You have to assign them all a meaning, because that can kind of invite the unassigned stuff, the shadow, from a Jungian perspective. Like all the stuff that you're kind of leaving out is going to like then crowd into that closet that hasn't been assigned anything. So you want to kind of assign all the spaces a meaning. And the Bagua map is a really nice way to do that. The other reason I really like it is because it's time tested. It's been around for hundreds of thousands of years, or thousands of years. I don't know. And it works. And it works for me. I like the way it makes me think about things. So that's kind of how I go about it. But literally you can do this in any like modality you wish. Like as long as you're assigning all of the places some sort of meaning, it can be very helpful. So essentially what I do is I ground myself. I set my space. I might light a candle, might light more than one candle. Sometimes if I'm really doing a big shake up in the house, I will light a tea light in every single room of the house. Kind of depends. Sometimes what I do is, ground each room of the house as I water the plants, or ground each room of the house by opening a window in each room or something like that. But you want to set the space to set it apart from the profane. So it's no longer an everyday space. You are now using your house as a ritual space, and it is now a ritual. This is where if you burn incense or something like that, it can be really helpful to kind of set apart the space. And that's an important piece of it. So once you set it apart and you are, about to get started, then you're going to set an intention. And I like to set the intentions based on the activities. So if I need clarity in my life, I will wash windows. I might wash the curtains as well and open them up. I might open the windows. Like I'm going to kind of tie whatever housekeeping aspect I'm doing to the act that I'm wanting to bring into my life. So right now, what I have going on is that I've put out into the world several job applications, as well as a couple of big moves in terms of setting my finances up for the coming months. And they're all kind of stuck in limbo. They're all just kind of like left on red, which is so frustrating. And there's nothing I can do about them. I can't chase them any more than I've already chased them. And so because of that, I need to like kind of energetically create some movement, create some motion and some flow in my life. So to that end, I am sweeping floors. That's one of the ways that I like to create motion and movement around my house. I'm also mopping. And mopping floors is a really important one for me, because I find mopping has a more that fluid flowing kind of movement of air rather than just the whisking of the broom. So mopping the floors is really important. If I'm seeking an idea of like safety or sanctuary, one of the things that I'll do is like refresh all the bedding. And so in some of the visuals here, you're going to see like piles of sheets and blankets that need to be restored to the guest bed and stuff like that. I also am going to point out, because it's something that features in a couple of these videos, is I only have ruggable rugs in my house that are actual like throw rugs. I can put a link below to Ruggable. Maybe they still have an affiliate link program. I'm not sure. However, what I'll tell you is that as a spoonie with pets, having either the vinyl floors that I can just wipe up super easily, or having rugs that I can just put in the washer at any time is super important to me, like just in general. Like that's a profane way of talking about it. However, it's also really important because having things that you can just like put in the washer is another element of like refreshing and changing and renewing, especially if you're going through a period of transformation like I am, or a period of renewal. It's really important to have that kind of ability to just throw something through the laundry. And one of the things that I did was wash all of the pillowcases for the pillows that go on the bench in my living room. And that whole process of washing all those pillowcases and then putting them back and rearranging them again stirs up all the energy. First, it's a really good opportunity for me to clean, but also it refreshes everything, right? Everything's a little fluffier, a little bouncier. 2 of the pillows, the zippers broke as I was putting the covers on there, so they ended up in the sewing room as a project now. But overall, the idea here is to kind of fluff and refresh the energy in the room. And I'm a little low on spoons this week, so I have every intention of moving all of my living room furniture. I'm probably going to rearrange my living room furniture, and I want to wash my living room rug, which is also machine washable. That is stuff that I'm kind of putting off because my back has been hurting and I don't want to injure myself. So I'm trying to be really kind to myself and just kind of give myself little tasks every day rather than trying to tackle like mop the whole house at once, which is what I normally do. And then even further in terms of the renewal and refreshing, the other thing I like to do is paint walls. I'm getting to the point where most of the house is painted. I've got a couple of places left that I'm still painting, but for the most part, that's another way that I like to kind of bring in that fresh, new idea, energy, as well as like kind of claiming the space and claiming my house. Those painting projects are always kind of a really nice way for me to reclaim my space. I had a guest here for about 3 weeks and she was absolutely lovely, but there's also an element after someone leaves the house where I'm like, this is mine. And so cleaning as well as painting or redecorating or rearranging is just another way for me to kind of claim the space as well and reassert that it is my space, that it is all my space, and kind of fill it back up with my own energy rather than a shared kind of situation. Now, on top of all of this, I was on vacation and I'm sorry I didn't take any videos while I was out, which is kind of silly. Took a ton of photos of very weird outsider art and amazing things. I'm sad that I didn't take any videos because it would have been a really good thing to post on Wednesday. However, it was a good vacation and I'm glad I went. Got to see some people who are really important to me and who I love a lot. And while I was gone, the person who was watching my pets had a couple of different, run-ins with some illness. And I'm not like a complete germaphobe, but I am immune compromised. And so part of the reason why I'm cleaning is also because of, wanting to, clear out that energy of sickness as well. So, I mean, it's not entirely like energetic and woo-woo or whatever. But it doesn't have to be, right? You can mop your floors because they need to be mopped, but you can also set the intention of, I'm going to mop my floors to, renew the energy in my life as well. Like you can do both. It can be both. And so that's a really important element about like kind of day-to-day rituals, especially like kind of using house cleaning as a ritual. Dusting is another good one. That's a way of honoring your belongings and making sure that you still want your belongings, like cleaning out closets and stuff like that. But it's also a really lovely way of clearing away kind of old energy or dead energy that you no longer need. It's a really good way to clear your space from that. And it's literally as easy as setting the intention, setting the space, and then doing your dusting with that mindfulness in place.